Hey everyone, and welcome back to Thinkiverse Podcast, the channel where we unlock knowledge across the spectrum every day. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming deep dives. I'm Ryan Lamas,
And I'm Rana Slito.
and we are both so pumped for today's topic. It's a business story with global implications, something I know you're all going to find super interesting. Google's latest earnings report, and how AI is playing a major role in their success.
That's a big one, Ryan.
So to set the scene, Google's parent company, Alphabet, just released their third quarter earnings. And let me tell you, they blew past all expectations. We're talking huge revenue, Google Cloud showing insane growth, and YouTube reaching a massive milestone.
Yeah, it's clear Google's killing it right now.
Okay, so let's unpack some of these crazy numbers. Earnings per share, a whopping $2.12, way above the expected $1.83. Revenue hit $88.27 billion, smashing the projected $86.44 billion. Google advertising brought in $65.9 billion, exceeding the anticipated $65.5 billion. And get this, YouTube's advertising revenue reached $8.92 billion, beating expectations of $8.89 billion.
Hold on. Even Google Cloud blew past predictions with revenue of $11.35 billion against an expected $10.79 billion.
Whoa, I almost forgot about that one. Seriously, those are some crazy impressive numbers.
They really are. What's fascinating here is that these numbers tell us a lot about Google's position. In the tech landscape right now, it's not just about the raw figures, it's about their continued dominance in search advertising. ND cloud computing, they're a powerhouse.
Totally. And you know what's even wilder? Google's CEO, Sundar Pichai, specifically said this success is largely due to their investments in AI.
That's a huge EE point, Ryan. AI isn't just some trendy buzzword for Google anymore. It's a core driver of their growth. We see this in the accelerated growth of AI products within Google Cloud, for example, plus the success of those AI-generated answers popping up in search results. Those are making a major impact.
Oh yeah, those AI-powered search results are now reaching over 1 billion users a month. I mean, that's mind-blowing. And ads within those AI overviews are performing really well too, which suggests a potential shift in how online advertising works.
Right. Are we looking at a fundamental change in how we search for information and how advertisers target their audience? The data seems to point in that direction, and it's super interesting to consider.
No kidding. But here's another thing that just blows my mind. Over 25% of new code at Google is now generated by AI. Then it's reviewed by engineers, of course, but still,
Yeah.
AI is writing code.
I know, it's wild. This raises some big questions, though. What does this mean for the future of software development? Is AI going to play a much larger role in coding? And could it eventually change the entire industry? It's definitely a possibility. Think about it. The potential for AI to streamline coding processes, make things more efficient, and maybe even lead to totally new innovations in software development. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. But we also have to talk about the elephant in the room, Google's ongoing legal battles, including that big antitrust ruling. That's got to be a huge deal for them.
It absolutely is. That ruling was a major decision, finding that Google violated antitrust law by maintaining a monopoly in search. This could have some serious implications for how Google operates moving forward.
So what could happen? Could they be forced to break up the company? What would that even look like for the tech world?
It's definitely a possibility that can't be ignored. If Google were forced to break up, it would completely reshape the entire tech landscape. On one hand, you could see more competition, which often leads to innovation and new players entering the market, but it could also create a whole bunch of new challenges and uncertainties. It's a pretty complex situation.
For sure. But here's what I find interesting. Even with all these legal battles going on, Google seems to be pushing forward full speed ahead, especially when it comes to AI. They even reorganized recently to prioritize AI development, moving the Gemini app team under Google DeepMind. That's a big move.
It definitely signals where their priorities lie. Moving that team under DeepMind, which is a leading AI research lab, shows just how committed Google is to being at the forefront of this technological revolution. They're doubling down on AI even in the face of these legal challenges, which is a pretty bold move.
Yeah, it's almost like they're saying, we believe in AI so much that we're not letting anything slow us down.
Exactly. They're betting big on AI being the future of their business. They're putting their resources where their mouth is, and this reorganization is a smart way to streamline their AI development and leverage the expertise at DeepMind.
Speaking of big bets, let's talk about Waymo, Google's self-driving car company. They're hitting some incredible milestones, like 150,000 paid rides per week and over 1 million fully autonomous miles driven. Those are serious numbers in the world of autonomous vehicles.
It's really impressive. Waymo is proving that self-driving technology is viable and pushing the limits of what's possible in transportation.
Do you think they're leading the pack in the race for self-driving dominance? It feels like they're making some serious progress.
They're definitely a major player, that's for sure. Those numbers show they're gaining momentum and moving closer to their goal of making self-driving technology a mainstream reality. It's a really exciting space to watch.
Absolutely. But we can't forget about the potential impact of the upcoming U.S. presidential election on Google's advertising revenue. That's a factor to consider, right?
For sure. Elections always affect how much money gets spent on advertising. And Google, with its massive advertising network, is going to be right in the middle of that. It'll be interesting to see how the election cycle plays out and what impact it has on Google's bottom line.
It's crazy how technology, politics, and economics all intersect like this.
Right, and that's what makes this deep dive into Google so fascinating. It's a story with a lot of layers, and it's still being written.
It really is. It's pretty remarkable to see Google facing such intense legal scrutiny, yet they're still making these bold moves and pushing boundaries in technology. It really shows how much they believe in the potential of AI.
That's a great point. What I find most fascinating is the bigger question this raises. What does Google's AI-driven success mean for the future of technology as a whole, and how will it affect our lives?
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a big one to think about.
for sure. When we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, we're seeing AI becoming more integrated into everything we do, from how we search for information to how we work, even how we get from point A to point B. Google is a leader in this transformation, and what they're doing today is shaping the tech world of tomorrow.
Mind-blowing, Rona. This has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive into Google's world. Your insights have been incredible.
It's been my pleasure, Ryan. I always love diving into these topics and exploring the possibilities.
And to all our amazing listeners, thanks for joining us here on Thinkiverse Podcast. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking deep dives like this one. We'll catch you next time. It really makes you wonder what our world will look like in just a few years. If AI keeps advancing at this pace, what stood out to you the most from all of this, Rana?
I think what's most striking is how Google is managing to navigate all these different forces at the same time. You've got the incredible advancements in AI, which are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. But then you also have these legal challenges and the uncertainty of the upcoming election. It's like they're juggling chainsaws while walking a tightrope.
Yeah, it's a high-wire act for sure, but they seem to be handling it all pretty well.
They are, and I think that speaks to their adaptability and their long-term vision. They're not shying away from the challenges. They're leaning into them. They're making strategic moves to position themselves for success in a world where AI is becoming increasingly central to everything.
It's a wild ride to watch, and I'm sure it's only going to get more intense from here. So for all of you listening, if you're interested in AI business or the future of technology, Google is definitely a company to keep your eye on.
Absolutely. What they do next is going to have ripple effects throughout the entire tech industry and beyond.
Well, Rona, this has been an absolutely fascinating conversation. Thanks again for joining us on Thinkiverse Podcast and sharing your expertise with us.
My pleasure, Ryan. Always a great time diving deep with you.
And to all our amazing listeners, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. For more deep dives like this one, we're unlocking knowledge across the spectrum every day. And we'll see you next time.